We talked about Roxham Road off the top of the show. It was our question of the day. Got some rather interesting and I maybe even one or two distressing phone calls on how to fix the situation that is Roxham Road. The Premier, open letter published in the Globe and Mail today, basically pointing the finger at Canada and doing it in a way that I think a lot of people will read and go, you know what? He's got a point. Mm-hmm. So what do we do about Roxham Road? A lot of people wondering how Quebec can continue to cope because it requires so much in the way of resources. And now with so many people coming over, 2,000 a month, 39,000 last year, maybe we are just tapped out. What do we do? What's the solution? Well, going to have two different viewpoints. DINA SOULEIMAN is Executive Director of the Welcome Collective here in Montreal. She's on the line right now. DINA, what's the solution here? Or first of all, with respect to the whole, immigration issue here, these migrants coming here, what are you thinking?
That's a big question. I think my first reflex is all the language and rhetoric that's around this subject. I'm a little bit scared of the sort of fear-mongering language that we use and sort of the panic mode that we're in. I feel we need to take a sort of a step back and, try to be objective as possible. And the reality is, as far as the community organizations, we've been seeing this for about a year. And we have been signaling this to everybody in all the conversations we've had. So for me to sit now and hear that there's a problem now, we've actually been signaling it for a year. So I feel there's a little bit of a delayed and a reactionary sort of situation that we have now.
Are you overwhelmed with the amount of people asking for help, and are you able to properly assist them?
We are overwhelmed. Everybody is overwhelmed. Just to put you in context, we still sort of help about 10 families a week with sort of full apartments and sort of psychosocial support. Now we can have 20 to 30 families showing up at our organization asking for help. So, you can do the percentage there. It is overwhelming, but we want to help. We don't want to turn people away. We want to provide resources. There are many difficult stories that we hear. We see our role and responsibility in this. We're being asked to step up in our duty, and we take it seriously. And I think just saying, no, go away is not really an answer. Yes, resources are stretched, but it's not the asylum seekers' problem, or they're not the cause of this. I mean, if you go back 5 years ago, I've been here in Quebec long enough. We've been talking about healthcare as far as I can remember, and there's always been issues there. And so I don't like the fear-mongering language in reference to the refugee claimants. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get that, and I realize it's probably as unfair a question to ask you, how do we fix this problem, or what the solution is to fix it? But what is it in your mind?
In my mind, if we're going to start at the basics, I think, from a Quebec organization, we should have funding. We serve only the refugee claimant population, so we should have really access to funding. At the moment, there's restrictions on that. There's more of an emphasis on people who've immigrated here, who have gone through an official process. So there really should be monies made available provincially and federally. I think that's the first thing. That would allow us to hire more people. And then once we have more capacity, then we can sort of set up systems in place. We have excellent activities and expertise, but we're limited in the financial means to actually sort of expand on it. So I think we have all the tools. We just need more capacity.
But you don't think that Roxham Road should be closed?
I'm lost for words for that a little bit because, I almost feel that we're putting a wall, we're operating under sort of a Trump-like era. We're putting a wall and people will not come through. I mean, I think it's a very inhumane way to sort of try to address the problem. It's not going to address the problem. It's going to be a band-aid solution. People will find other ways to get in, more dangerous ways, and more people's lives will be lost. And the issue is not just Roxham Road. There's an agreement with the U.S. and Canada about how you can declare asylum, the safe third country agreement, that needs to be addressed. So, no, I don't agree Roxham Road.
Okay. DINA, well said, DINA.
DINA, thank you so much. I want to stay on the line if you like. Neil DRABKIN is an immigration lawyer, political commentator. We've had him on from time to time. And Neil, we've spoken immigration before, now Roxham Road. Again, at the forefront, maybe because Quebec is making as big an issue of it now. You heard what DINA had to say. Is it time to close Roxham Road, in your opinion?
It's overtime. It's been going on for years, and has to be closed down. The fact is that these claimants, if they're bona fide refugees, they need to make their claim in the United States. The United States is a safe third country. It's a signatory to the United Nations Covenant on the Refugee. And these people are abusing the system. They know that very well. They're being counseled to come up to Roxham Road because they'll be allowed to come in and stay here for months and maybe years before their claims are heard. It's unfair, and it brings the whole system into disrepute if we allow this to continue. This has been going on for years, as your guest said, and it's time to shut it down now.
So the argument to shut it down now, you've heard this from other people, is if it's not Roxham Road, it'll be somewhere else. Is that valid?
That may be valid, but these people will not have the opportunity to make a claim in Canada. If the government either negotiates a change to the Safe Third Country Agreement or invokes its own legislation, if Mr. Biden doesn't want to be agreeable in that regard, then we'll have the right to either turn them around or send them back to their own country. And I can assure you, Aaron and Natasha, they won't come if they know they'll be returned back to their country of origin. They'll simply make the claim in the country in which they're required to, and that's the United States. This is called the venue shopping. They're shopping for the place they'll be treated most favorably. But that's not fair and that's unequitable in a system like ours. They need to be making the claim in the United States. We're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this process. The real refugees are the ones coming from Ukraine, Syria, Afghanistan, and they need to be treated first. These people are queue jumpers, nothing more, nothing less, and they need to be treated as such.
Right. I mean, I think it bears mentioning that the whole situation has been validated by the fact that we have a mayor in New York City who's admitted to, paying for bus tickets to send them here. But beyond that, Neil,
he may actually be breaking the law by encouraging them to break our laws. And I will reiterate once again, it's an illegal cross. Once they cross in, they are arrested for breaking the immigration laws. But then they're put in the refugee system stream as soon as they say the word refugee. And those cases in which they are breaking the laws are not pursued.
Okay, Neil, what about the option of expediting work permits? If we could issue people work permits and they were more self-sufficient and able to pay taxes, would that alleviate?
No, that's fine.
Oh.
There are people waiting at our missions and our embassies abroad for months and for years for work permits. Why should we put these people at the front of the line? We're encouraging them to break the law. That's what we're encouraging them by doing if we give them work permits. If they want to come to this country, they don't want to make a refugee claim in the United States, then let them stand in line with the rest of the people who want to come to this country. It's patently unfair to put them to the front of the line.
But other people will say the people who are coming here legally, for the most part as economic immigrants, they're going through the process. These people are fleeing persecution. Does that not make a difference?
If they're fleeing persecution, Aaron, then let them make their claim in the United States. In a lot of cases, they've been in the United States for years. Now they're all of a sudden finding it convenient to come up here. No, I say no to that. I say if you're fleeing persecution, that's fair. Then make your claim in the United States of America, a very free country, I may add, a very free country. They'll have the right to a hearing, and there'll be a determination made as to whether they're a refugee or not. And if they are, they'll be able to remain there. And if they're not, they'll be returned to their country. That is due process, and that is what should be applied here.
So you're saying third safe country agreement, whatever, even if you are one of those people, the way the law is right now, this agreement is right now, first of all, do you think there's any impetus to change this if you're the United States?
They're laughing at us. They're saying, look, you're helping us get rid of our problem. Justin Trudeau should turn around and say, this is your problem, Mr. Biden, and we expect a change to this legislation that has a massive loophole in it. It should have never been negotiated this way because it's worthless as drafted. So, and if Mr. Biden says no, then Mr. Trudeau should introduce his own legislation. And he can invoke the notwithstanding clause and say that anybody who crosses that border illegally and wants to make a refugee claim will be turned around and sent to their country of origin. I can assure you that will stem the flow.
Neil DRABKIN, immigration lawyer. He's based here in Montreal. Neil, I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Aaron.